It's morning. William, John, Susan and Thomas are in the kitchen. John opens an official-looking letter.
This is about the summons we took out against John Bennett for starting the fight. The case was mentioned at Longton Borough Court last Monday, but it's been decided to hold the case over. Let's see. It is ascertained that money matters are at the bottom of the dispute. It is deemed to be a family matter, and it is hoped that the three parties could come to some agreement. Now, I've just read a bit further. It looks like John Bennett's taken out a cross summons against you and me, William. This will be heard next Monday.
Get out, you two. I need a word with John. It's all your wife's fault, John. Susan's always sticking her nose into things that don't concern her. She must have riled John somewhat terrible for him to come at us like he did.
She hasn't told me exactly what she said, other than trying to get some support and help with his family.
You've gone soft on the head, you. Can't you read between the lines of what she said and get the meaning?
What she's most likely said, William, is that he's not coping. Maybe that riled him.
Well, I think there's more to it than that. You know what she's like, loving fancy things. I bet she's got her eye on something nice, and she's asked if she can have it.
Well, she did mention that Sarah had some nice objects around the house.
Well, that'll be it then. She's asked him for something, and he's kicked off. He just lost his wife. She'd no right. Not at a funeral. She's a cold-hearted cow.
Enough, William. Enough. I won't have you say that about Susan. She meant no harm. She may be tactless sometimes. I grant you that. She probably just chose the wrong moment to ask him when John was naturally in mourning. I'll speak to her.
Well, if you do that, she needs a good thrashing, not just a word. I think she can come and go and do what she wants to, like royalty or something. You married her right, hoity-toity piece of work.
Enough, William. If you say any more, God help me, I'll strike you.
No, I'll save it for your wife.
William storms off.
Susan? I need to get to the bottom of this, Susan. What did you say to John Bennett to upset him so?
All I said, after offering any assistance we could give, was that I liked his house and the beautiful ornaments. He must have taken it the wrong way, thinking I was coveting them. I didn't mean to cause offence.
Well, I think he has indeed taken offence. That's all I can think of, as he wouldn't discuss the matter with us. Maybe he overheard you say something.
Oh, well, come to think of it, I was talking to Jukes, saying John looked like a poor, perplexed man at the funeral. I wonder if he overheard the parts of the conversation, possibly just the words poor, perplexed. What with the crowd gathering there and everyone talking, he could have misheard those words as pauper and thought we were saying it was a pauper's funeral. That doesn't bear thinking about, oh dear.
I don't know. Yes, that could be the answer. With poor John in his miserable state, with the noise of others talking around him. Yeah, maybe he could have misheard.
But why, John dear, did you not just hold him down after he hit out at you and William? Why did you have to join the fray? Now you've taken out this court summons against him without getting down to the facts, which has led John to take out a cross summons against the both of you.
I don't know. He was calling you such names that I felt I had to defend you. And you know, William, anything for a fight.
You've caused more trouble than was started, dear.
I know. But that was William's idea.
This cupboard by the back door, Dave, that I think used to be the pantry.
Oh,
I see you've got that look again.
You've got something else for me to do? Come on then, let me have it. What have you got in mind?
Well, we don't need a pantry, as we've got all the cupboard space we need in the kitchen now, plus the fridge freezer. I was just thinking that possibly we could use it as a coat and boot room. We need somewhere to hang our coats. We could also store holiday luggage there, ready for when we could afford to go on a holiday again.
Yeah, so it's not just a room you want to have a holiday as well?
Oh, don't read more into what I'm saying, Dave. One day we'll have a holiday again, for sure. But I was just looking at that cupboard and there doesn't seem to be a light. Not one that works, anyway. Maybe the wiring's broken.
We had the new consumer unit put in, but the electrician doesn't seem to have checked the cabling in this cupboard. Seems such a small thing to do. Just check the wiring is connected first of all before we pay out for the electrician again. I can do that. I'll just make sure the electricity's off first though. The girls are watching TV in the lounge, so I'll keep that switch on. I can't see the cable running all the way from the living room to this cupboard. It must run from the scullery or kitchen or the hallway. I'll turn those off.
So, Dave flicks the switches on the consumer box, set high up in the kitchen, and sets to work to undo the cover plate for the light switch in the cupboard. Sue is looking at the consumer box, just looking at the labels the electrician has put against the switches for each room.
No, that didn't just happen, did it? One of the switches has just moved to on. What the hell? Dave?
Ah!
Oh, God!
Sue runs to see if Dave is all right. Dave is lying at the bottom of the stairs. He looks unconscious.
Dave! Dave, are you okay? Oh, I'll just check your pulse. Dave, you look white as a sheet and your hair is standing on end. Oh, thank goodness he's alive. Oh, your eyelids just fluttered. Speak to me, Dave. I'll call an ambulance.
The girls have come running.
All the lights and the TV have gone off.
Then Emily looks down at her father, seeing him prone on the floor. Sue ignores them and runs for her phone in the kitchen. She returns to Dave.
Ambulance, please. Dale House, Ledendale Lane, Rough Close. Please hurry.
I'm all right. All right, honey. God, that hurt. Especially the back of my head.
I think you must have been thrown backwards into the newel post and bashed your head.
I feel wretched.
I've called for an ambulance. The hospital needs to check you over. Oh, I was just going to call out to warn you that the hallway switch hadn't fully gone off. It must have sprung back. I couldn't reach it to turn it off.
Dave tries to sit up.
I feel like I'm in a fog. I can't see you clearly. Oh, my chest hurts.
Lie down, Dave.
I feel a bit sick.
Get a bowl, girls.
Sue gets a coat from the cupboard and covers him up and gets a cushion from the lounge for his head. She returns and holds his hand.
Stay with us, Dave. The ambulance will be here soon.
Later the next day, Dave is back, resting in the rocking chair in the kitchen.
Oh, you've been really lucky, Dave. You didn't receive any electrical burns, but the hospital kept you in for observation, fearing a concussion after banging your head. Oh, I'm so glad that you're in one piece. Is there anything I can get you?
Go away. Who are you? I told you to get lost. Now go on.
I'm not going anywhere, sweet.
No, I'm fine, thanks. I'm fine.
It's morning of the 27th of February and it's cold. There is a thin dusting of snow. John, William and Susan are taking baskets to load the cart up ready to attend Longton Market. They go out of the door into the yard.
Come on, it's 11 o'clock. We need to be off. Jukes has the horse and cart ready at the gate.
Susan and William go back inside to get their coats. Susan is heavily pregnant. William sidles up to Susan, meaning to help her with her Ulster coat, but actually puts his hands around her throat. Susan tries to scream, but only a muffled moan came out, as William's hands are too tight around her. John enters.
Damn it, William, what are you doing? Get your hands off her.
John rushes to push William aside. He then comforts Susan and adjusts her collar. He is seething red.
She'll have a collar put right on Monday at the court summons.
I'll get you for that.
All the hurt and misery of growing up with this bully of a brother comes flooding back into John's mind. He couldn't defeat him then, but he can now. He grabs the rifle from where it was held in place by a string on a wall and chases after William, who has run out of the back door. Susan is immediately behind him. John lifts the rifle to his shoulder.
You're not going to ruin me today.
Oh, done it, Jack.
William ducks, then runs on. John follows and takes aim again. At that same moment, Susan has caught up with John and is desperately trying to stop him. But John pushes her away and, at that same moment, in the struggle, the gun goes off. The charge has caught William fair and square by the side of the head, and, without uttering a word, he falls to the ground, dead. Susan has got an ugly knock on one side of her face with the butt end of the gun and has been knocked to the ground.
Oh, Lord God. I've done it now. There's no else for it.
John attempts to put the gun to his own head to blow himself away. He tries to pull the trigger, looping his foot through the attached string, but the trigger just won't pull. John trudges back towards the house, his shoulders down.
What's all ruckus about? Guns going off, people screaming.
Oh, he's trying to kill himself! Stop him!
Give us the gun, John. Let's go back in the house.
Oh, Grandad, Uncle John has shot Uncle William.
Ah, he has.
What's that? Oh my goodness. Was that a shot? I thought I heard something.
What?
John is seated in the kitchen. Thomas is nearby. He looks in total shock, dazed. Susan is trembling and crying in the rocking chair.
Oh, Mr. Daniel, John shot William. What's led up to this? He looks very pale.
Thomas says nothing.
Oh, John, whatever have you been doing?
I've done it, Mrs. Latham, and I shall have to suffer for it. William had been upbraiding me about my wife and attacked her. He made a comment about getting a collar being put straight on Monday.
Mr. Gould then enters the kitchen.
Oh, Mr. Gould, I knew there'd been a bother between the brothers regarding Mrs. Bennet's funeral, but I didn't think it would come to this.
Mr. Gould just shrugs his shoulders. John is feeling cold but sweating. He puts his arms around himself, hunched over. He then becomes restless, shuffling in his chair, getting up, sitting down again. He then gets up in a robotic state, unaware of what he's doing, and leaves the house and comes back with a few baskets. People gaze after him.
Mrs. Latham, you were on your way to market. Can you take our baskets for us, please?
John, dear, what are you saying? Mr. Daniels, what should I do?
He's not even said he's sorry. He's not even mentioned William.
The produce has to go to market. No. How could this have happened? Why did William attack Susan? I didn't mean to shoot him dead. Did I? Maybe if Susan hadn't knocked the rifle, William wouldn't be dead now. But I can't blame her. She was just trying to stop me. I had the rifle and I'll have to take the consequences. What's going to happen now? I'll have to face the hangman. Oh, I wish I was lying dead with William, as I tried. Then it would all be over now. Oh, God. I'll never see my little baby.
The local postman, John Duval, is next in the scene and carefully helps to bring William's body into the house with Mr. Latham and lay it out on the table. Mrs. Latham puts a tablecloth over it. In the yard, John approaches John Duval.
Can you come with me to the police station, John? You live in Stone, and as like as not, I'll be taken there.
I've nothing to go to Stone for.
Well, John, it will perhaps be the last good turn you can do for me.
If you insist, I'll accompany you.
PC Lloyd arrives and goes into the house and, after looking at the body, is about to take John out of the house. Susan is bruised and battered.
Can I at least accompany my husband to Stone? I need to be with him. He needs me.
You're in no state to be with your husband. It would be all too traumatic for you and could possibly induce the baby. I can't allow it.
That's right, Susan. He's right.
John then goes back into the house with Susan upstairs to one of the bedrooms to say goodbye.
I'm sorry, Susan. I'm sorry William ever came back to the house. If he hadn't been here, this never would have happened. I have to say my goodbyes now. I doubt very much that you will ever see me again, except in court, of course, when I will be given a date to be executed, I'm sure. I love you, Susan. Always remember that. And tell our little one, when it's born, whether it be a child or a son, that its father loved it. Do what you will with these 2 watches. Sell them if you like. If necessary, you may need the money. All right, Lloyd. I know what I've done. I shall have to suffer for it. It's done and it can't be undone. I'll go with you as soon as I've given this other watch to Jukes.
PC Lloyd and John exit the house.
Your wife cannot be called to trial due to the present state of the law. A wife cannot bear witness for or against her husband.
The doctor then arrives. He examines the body, then turns to the father, Thomas. Thomas is cold and shaking.
Mrs. Latham, I'm afraid that the shock will have been too great for old Mr. Daniel. He needs to be closely watched.
Poor Mr. Daniel. Yes, I'll certainly endeavour to, Doctor.
I'll go upstairs to check on Mrs. Daniel. I can hear her crying vehemently. Now, Mrs. Daniel, take this sedative, and here's some balm to soothe your face. It is hoped that she will sleep and be calmer in the morning. I will check on her tomorrow.
How he thinks Susan will be calmer in the morning, knowing that her husband is in jail, having committed a hanging offence for which he will never be allowed to return, God only knows.
Dave is pacing up and down the kitchen.
I need to get out of here. I just don't feel right. I'm going to work.
Okay, love. If your mind's made up, I can't stop you. Maybe having your mind on something other than the accident will help.
Dave leaves. Sue on the phone to her mother.
I just don't know what's happening with him, Mum. He's not been the same since the accident. He goes to work, then he comes back through the door, the same state as he left. We don't really talk anymore, other than work. Some days are better than others, though. So it's not like he's constantly in these deep, silent moods. Yes, he does enjoy interacting with the girls. That's one good thing. One thing that really upsets me is that he doesn't ask about the baby. Yes, I do try to tell him if the baby kicks, but I get no response. Yes, Mum, I really want to just shout at him sometimes, as you say, just to get a response. But I don't. I can't. That would only create an argument that I don't want and don't need. So I've told myself I will just have to wait and be calm, and things will improve. If he won't say much to me, I just keep up a one-sided conversation, telling him everything the girls have gotten up to at school, even attempting a joke or two. Sometimes there's a glimpse of his old self, but on bad days, well... Yes, he laughs with the girls, which I don't understand, as he's quite cold towards me. It's as though I've done something really nasty to him that he won't forgive. Sorry, Mum, you probably don't want to know, but intimacy has gone out the window too. No, he won't see a doctor. Yes, it would be lovely to see you, but you're so far away and you don't keep in the best of health. No, it's okay. We'll sort things out eventually.
It is evening. Sue is in the kitchen working on Dave's accounts. The rest of the family are in the living room. Sue can hear the two girls giggling. They are playing board games. Sue is trying to concentrate, but tunes keep popping up into her head. Old tunes that she hadn't heard of in a while.
Funiculi, funicula, funiculi, funicula. Oh, such a jolly song. Oh, that's a lovely song from my school days. The whole class would sing it. Yes, that's it. The Skyboat song. Bonny boat, like a bird on the wing. Hold on a minute. That song isn't in my head. I can hear it coming from the living room. Maybe they've got the TV on in there? Onto a music programme? Sky Arts, maybe.
Sue gets up to investigate, but opening the door, there is no sound except the children giggling, and definitely no singing. It must have been one of those rare friendly days. Dave was in a good mood with the girls and doesn't seem troubled.
Hey girls, what's the most fruitful subject at school?
Oh, I know that. Daddy, it's history, because it's full of dates.
Very good, Emily, very good.
You haven't been playing any music, have you, Dave?
No, sir. We've just been playing reasonably quietly. We were playing a board game, waiting for the cartoons to come on. Emily's been cheating and Alice got a bit upset, so I had to quieten them down, as I knew you were concentrating next door. But no music.
That's very strange. I can still hear it. Can't you hear anything? Yeah, there are people singing. It's Danny Boy, my mum's favourite. Words put to Londonderry air.
Oh, Mum, you've got yourself too tired, concentrating too much.
My, don't you sound so grown up all of a sudden, thinking of me? That's nice of you, Alice.
Come and have a sit down and watch TV with us.
Shh, no, listen. Girls, be quiet. Hush.
Come to think of it, Susan. Yes, I can vaguely hear something. It's coming in the direction of the piano.
Have I done something wrong? You're calling me Susan. You always call me Sue.
Oh, just one of those things. Forget about it.
Oh, Danny boy, I
But when ye come and all the flowers are dying, and if I am dead, as dead I well may be. You'll come and find the place where I am lying, and kneel and say an Ave there for me.
Yeah, that's it exactly. That's exactly what I hear. I didn't know there was a third verse. I didn't know those words.
Oh, then we've definitely got ghosts. No good having the camera upstairs then, as the camera won't pick up ghosts. Oh well, so we've got memories coming through of the past. There's nothing wrong with that. They're not causing any mischief, just pleasant music. Let's just let them be.
Okay, if you say so, Dave. But it's weird. Very weird.
Yeah, I know. Let's have a drink. I've really got a taste for a whiskey. I can taste it in my mouth.
You don't drink whiskey, Dave. I've only ever known you to drink wine or the occasional beer. Besides that, we haven't got whiskey in the house, and you know we can't have a drink until the children have gone to bed.
Spoil sport. Always trying to make out I'm in the wrong all the time.
Dave, what's gotten into you all of a sudden? I really haven't said anything out of line. If you're so desperate for a whiskey, go down to the pub and I'll look after the girls. But don't come back roaring drunk, otherwise I'll make you sleep in the spare room.
There you go again, having a go at me before I've even done anything. I just said I fancied a whiskey, not that I was going to get drunk.
Dave, I'm not having a go at you. I just don't know what's gotten into you lately.
There, my fault again.
Oh, it's no good talking to you when you're in this mood. I'm going back to the books. If you go out, let me know. Oh, and by the way, whoever keeps moving that armchair in the living room to the front of the blocked up fireplace, please put it back again. It's not meant to be there. And why put it in front of a defunct chimney breast? I've no idea. Also, I keep finding newspapers on the floor by the armchair, and for some unknown reason, the magnifying glass I used to read the small print in contracts, it's on the floor there too. That belongs in the sideboard drawer, and the newspapers should be in the TV magazine rack. So, clear up after you. Please.
All rise!
The coroner is in his court. All the neighbours and relatives involved are there.
I, Mr. A.A. Flint, coroner for the Uttoxeter Division of Staffordshire, have called this coroner's court hearing on this day, Tuesday, the 2nd of March 1886, here at the George and Dragon Inn, Rough Close, concerning the death of William Daniel. The jury have heard the facts of the case. John Daniel has been charged with wilful murder of his brother, William Daniel, at Rough Close on Saturday morning last. I do not suppose the jury will require me to read the evidence over. The facts are so simple that you will not have the slightest difficulty in coming to a decision. You are called together to inquire by what means and under what circumstances the deceased came by his death. The prisoner's wife saw the whole occurrence, but cannot be called due to the present state of the law. The prisoner admitted his guilt to several persons. Many rumours are afloat with reference to the crime, and the characters of the two men are being somewhat roughly handled. There is little doubt that the man, now in custody, is remarkable for his hasty temper and perhaps was not too particular in either what he said or did. He nevertheless is a shrewd businessman and is believed to be in a prosperous condition, so far as his finances are concerned. he bears a better character than the man whose life he has taken. He is 36 years of age. The murdered man has got his living in recent times as a journeyman gardener. He was 42 years of age and leaves a widow and 6 children. However, if a man fired a gun at another and killed him, the jury have the right to assume that, at the time, he intended to do it, and I think the jury would not have the slightest difficulty in saying there was malice prepense. It is not for the jury to inquire into the state of the mind of the murderer at the time. Nevertheless, bear in mind that the ramrod and the powder and the shot flask remained in the house all the time until the father put them in the stable. The foreman of the jury, please give your verdict.
We, the jury, return a verdict of wilful murder against John Daniel. All rise in court.
Yes, this magistrate's court is convened on this day, Wednesday, 3rd March, this court home in Stone. John Daniel is before me, Mr. J.F. Wildman, for the purpose of hearing the examination of the prisoner. John Daniel is charged with the wilful murder of his brother William Daniel at Rough Close on Saturday morning last. After careful consideration, I hereby declare that John Daniel will be committed for trial at the assizes for wilful murder. He will be charged formally by my clerk, and his defence is to be reserved.
You are gathered here at the Stone Assizes this day, the 8th of May, 1886. John Daniel, 36 years of age, is described as a labourer and has been arraigned for the wilful murder of his brother, William Daniel, at Rough Close on February the 27th. We have heard the witnesses. The prosecution statement given by Mr. G. Gumbleston and Mr. R. Smith, and, in turn, the defence statement given by Mr. J. Underhill, QC, with Mr. H. T. Bodham. In passing sentence, I cannot conceal from myself that the prisoner had shot his brother in a most furious temper. His life has been saved by the verdict of the jury, which is that of manslaughter, but he must be severely punished. He will be kept in penal servitude for 20 years.
It's evening. Sue is in the kitchen with Dave. Dave is drunk. He looks older with lines developing around his eyes and deep chiselled lines on his forehead. His face seems to be fixed into a permanent scowl. Sue is beginning to feel afraid of him and backs away.
Look, the children are awake. Can't this wait until after they've gone to bed? I don't want them to be upset, even if you can't be bothered to keep this family together anymore.
Whose family? The honour mine.
Dave!
My name ain't a Dave. Don't you even know who you're talking to? You've gone mad in the head. You ready for the asylum, you? I always knew you were a grumpy fat cow. Get out of my face!
Dave!
I told you I'm not Dave, whoever Dave may be.
Why are you talking like that? Where's this old Potteries dialect come from? What's happened to the Dave I know and love?
I don't know what you are on about. In case you can't remember, that my brother John's wife, Susan Daniel. Best go back to him and he can send you to a mental home, where you belong.
Dave makes a grab for Sue, raising his fist to punch her. Sue manages to struggle free and runs out of the house, grabbing her laptop, purse and coat. She is pondering what to do, where to go. She is tearing at her hair, scared, lost, and bewildered. Just then, the two girls return from an event after school. Trying to calm herself down, she doesn't want them to be confronted by their maniac father.
We're going to one of your friends' houses. We can have a stay overnight. That will be great, won't it? You can have a little away day, a sleepover. I'm sorry to put on you like this, Jean, but Dave is just not well. He's got some sort of bug, and I'm frightened the children might catch it. I know I'm inconveniencing you, but do you think you could possibly have them for a few days? Yes. Great. And thank you for your best wishes for Dave. I'll pass them on. Thanks again, and see you in a while.